Hello, everyone. Hello. It's so wonderful to look out at your room and almost know everyone. How blessed can I be? Anyway, I want to welcome you. I'm really glad that you're here. I appreciate it very much that you came. I'm writing to read my stuff because I can't remember anything anymore. I'm introducing to you Dr. Becky Cook. I want to talk a little bit, just a little bit. She is a professional in absolutely every way. I truly believe that she has herself touched at least hundreds of thousands of lives by helping children who help teachers, who help their families, who help their instructors, for the college teachers and stuff like that. She's awesome beyond belief. She's just like the other people here. I believe that the Tuscola schools have encouraged and instilled in their students a really lot to go out and find their passion and make a difference in this world. It seems to me that that's one of the things that all of these people have spoken to do. I want you to be the best that they can be, and always be humble. And Becky is an awesome, wonderful person, and you will really enjoy listening to her. Becky, come on up. She's making a difference in this world big time. I just want you to
I'm short. How strange is this for me to be up here and having Mike Carroll in the audience listening to me? It's usually the other way around. I also want to make a few corrections in the little program here. I see that my name is Becky Carroll, and the reason that I go by Becky Cook is because if you're married to somebody like Mike Carroll, it's really hard to find your own way in this world. And when I'm with Mike, it's usually, hi Mike, hi Mrs. Mike, hi Mike, or hi Mike, hi Mrs. Carroll, hi Judge, hi Mrs. Judge, and my favorite is, hi Mike, hi lady. So just bear with me. I don't care if you just call me Becky. That would be great. So try to remember that. But I love being married to Mike. Before we get started, I want to thank Barb. I let her on her back. I had to practice that a lot. Lady, yes. And she has just been so sweet. She came to me and wanted to nominate me, and I have done my job all of my life, and I did things that I thought were expected of me, and I never realized, and I think Barb and Mike have helped me realize that maybe I've done some valuable things in life, even though I just kind of was plodding along and looking for things that might interest me. I liked a lot of variety in my life, and so I just got into a lot of different types of things, and have lived all over. Well, I kept going west, and then I came back home. But another correction is, actually, when I did not work for Head Start, my grant, and we had a federal grant, and there was a grant that provided training and technical assistance to Head Start programs all across the country. So I had 5 states that I worked with. I went to, in a 3-year period, is the woman that I worked with, and I went to every Head Start program in Region 5, which is 5 different states, observed, gave them feedback on how they can work with children who have disabilities. And Head Start was actually the first program that provided inclusion for children with preschool children with disabilities. So I've really had a lot of different opportunities to be on Native American reservations, working with migrant teachers who are working with migrant children, really seeing a different culture than what I saw here in Tuscola, because everybody is so, we just have so many benefits in this community, and it's really touched me a lot to, again, exactly what Janet was saying, that people here are just so special, and they provide so many opportunities for us to really grow, and we're blessed. And to go to other countries, to go to third world countries and see people living in boxes, and and being able to come back. At the time I was living in Colorado, and to come back to Colorado and go down Colorado Boulevard and see these mansions, it was like, oh boy. One time I went to I was in Belize, and this woman had asked us to come to dinner, and well, that's great. She goes, I have something really special. I've been saving up a lot for this dessert, this special dessert that I have for you. And so we were, you know, when you think of dessert, you think of ice cream, cake, or pie. And she was so excited to bring out this can of cream corn for us to have for dessert. And it was like, oh my gosh, you know, these poor people. But I'll tell you what, I learned so much from how gracious people are, how people who, the less they have, the more gracious they are and kind. And just in my travels and going to Hong Kong, and by the way, I probably shouldn't say this, but I was mistaken for a prostitute there. You might take my award away. But I did, it's only because I had on it. In Hong Kong, we dress up. And I had on a little wrap skirt and a t-shirt, and I had been really sick. And actually, that was a time when I was supposed to smuggle Bibles into China. And I'm the kind of person, you can look at my face and you can see, you know, okay, I'm smuggling Bibles in China. So I was glad that I was sick that day. But so the experience, I kind of got off track here. But I do want to thank Barb for nominating me. I want to thank the committee for selecting me, and I really want to thank Mike. I know I talk about him a lot, but I want to thank him for helping me through the process. I couldn't have done it without you. I also want to thank Marcy, because she has just been great at keeping us all informed. So what a wonderful opportunity for people to, in communities, to see what maybe people have done as they go through life, you know, what they think is normal. That somebody recognizes that maybe it's exceptional. Maybe it's something that they never knew about these people. And what two great people here that have contributed to society. So I just thank Tuscola. Once again, it's a wonderful place to grow up, and it's great to have this opportunity. Like I said, I've had the opportunity of going to other countries. I don't think people realize how new early childhood special ed is. That's my background, and when I went to the U of I for my master's degree, I worked with two pioneers, Jeanette McCullum and Merle Carnes, who were just right there at the beginning. I just had that opportunity, and I didn't have to take it. I did not have my undergrad degree in early childhood special ed. And I could have said, ooh, I don't know how to do that. But there were things that had happened here in Tuscola that really boosted me to, you know, go ahead and try something that's unfamiliar or uncomfortable. And so I applied at the U of I for a graduate position, and was accepted, and that was the start of my career. If I hadn't done that, I don't know what I would be doing today. Probably married to Mark Harrell. Wait a minute.
You'd be a lady.
I would be a lady. And I'm a prostitute. So, but I have had opportunities to work through that really early program and early childhood special ed, and then I traveled all over the United States training teachers. There's a grant called the Model Programs. They had the First Chance programs, and at the time that I started in the program, they were everything in special education was pushed down to early childhood special education, and it's a very different program. I'm the only early childhood special ed faculty at Eastern, and they walk into my office and you see toys all over my shelves, and you know, because I'm wanting to teach teachers how to make learning hands-on. So it's really unusual to see that in a faculty person's office, and it's because young children need to learn to play. and we need to embed their goals and objectives into that play. So that's very different than sitting at a desk and following directions and doing worksheets. If I ever see one of my teacher candidates doing a worksheet with preschoolers, I can't do that. So the other thing that I learned in my travels and in my work is in working with Head Start, just the challenges that poverty provides for these children and for the families. And I tell you, some of the most wonderful people have been those people in Head Start, those teachers in Head Start that I met, every one of them in that 5-state area. And they are, again, the most gracious people in the world. Some people like you. Every time I traveled someplace, I found people like Tuscola, people in Tuscola, just constantly gravitated. I went west to Colorado for this grant, lived with some wonderful people that I still have contact with today. Then I have to say, I did study to be a missionary, however, it was in Hawaii. I know. So, and then I chose to come back here to Central Illinois, partially because my niece and nephew who are here, and partially because I love being back here. And once again, found the third time we dated, we finally got married. I mean, the third time, I'm talking about from high school to college, and finally later in life, so third time's charm. So, and I know this is going a little long, but because I'm sharing some things I didn't think I was going to share. Yeah, let me bring that up again. It's really a shock to me that I am in the position of standing up here in front of you talking about my success in life, because when I was 3 years old, came to Tuscola, I was a very shy and rather fearful little girl, hiding behind my mother's skirt a lot, and just really, really not wanting to reach out and do anything. In fact, my educational career hardly started at all, because when Mother told me, after I had been with her for 2 years by myself and my sisters, who are older, who are here today. Whoops. So when my mother told me that I had to go to school, I thought, wait a minute, I love being home with you. I refuse to go. So I always thought I was a really sweet little girl that was really compliant, and I'm thinking back on my life here, and it's not quite that way. So I did refuse to go to school, but I have, in these little experiences I'm going to tell you, I've learned some lessons, and I've used them throughout my career, whether I'm working with children with disabilities, or training teachers, or coaching experienced teachers. I have learned these things, and I use them all the time. And one thing was, my mother taught me that you can some people will say bribe, but you can give children incentives to do things. And one of the things that she did was to say, you know what, if you go to school, I'll put your picture in the paper. And then, you can see, you'll go out throughout all the town and everything. And so, okay, I'll go to school then. So I went to school, and I still have the picture of Sarah and myself, my middle sister, going to school with our little bow in our hair and our plaid skirts and our little white crisp blouses, and went to school. Now, that's a nice incentive, and you can get young children to do a lot of things if you tell them, if we do this, then you can do this, and that worked for me. So the real reward, though, was my teacher. When I got to school, Mrs. Nicely, that's her real name, and she was the most wonderful person in the world. And what I learned from her is that when you educate young children, it has to be a safe environment, has to be an encouraging environment, and she definitely started my career off great. I loved going to her class, and she was also a pretty little blonde. There are other teachers I want to talk about, but I remember one time, another thing that I learned was developing trust. When you're educating young children, you have to develop trust. Dr. Cross, actually, Dr. Stan Cross actually taught me this when I went to his office, and once again, I refused something. I refused to get a shot. So when he goes, well, you know what? If you give me a shot, and then I'll give you a shot. Oh, okay, that'll work. Okay. So he put himself out there, and I know he really didn't do that. I know he put that shot someplace, and it really didn't numb his mouth. But I was little, and I kind of went along with it. And that's another thing. You can do a lot of things that I consider magic for young children. I mean, they don't know any better. So developing trust is important. Then another time, I was in 7th grade, and this is a time when there are a lot of teachers, a lot of children coming into the schools, and I had always been with my classmates, and it went up to K. Oh, that's another name, Kegley. I have several names. That's another one. But when I was in 7th grade, all of a sudden they stopped at J that year. Well, boy, I did not like that. So I went into the class that I thought I should be in. Do you know that not one person said a word to me, and they let me stay in that class? Now, what I learned from that is you pick your battles. You know, I probably would have fallen apart if they had put me in that other room, and it would have affected my learning the rest of my life. That's what I'm thinking. So that didn't happen, and nobody said anything to me, and I have no idea why they let that go, but I appreciate it so much. I want to go on to 3 high school teachers that really meant a lot to me, and some of the people who are my age, I don't know. Anybody in here have Miss Deere? Oh, absolutely wonderful educator. What a model for me. I mean, here she is, maybe not in fashion sense, but because she had the long skirts to the ankle and the orthopedic shoes, and she was trooping out there with the, in the woods, helping us identify those trees, those leaves, and what a wonderful enthusiasm she had for education. And I have taken that with me from that time I met her, and she, somebody who loves learning so much can't help but influence other children, and influence anybody. So she taught me that you have to have hands-on activities for children. They don't learn by just listening to you or reading what they're supposed to learn. They learn by doing. So when I was dissecting frogs and going on those field trips and all of the hands-on activities she had, we were really learning, and I appreciate that so much. There was Mr. Meyer, who was the chemistry teacher. I did not have him in class, but I did have him as the manager at the swimming pool this summer, that was my job for this summer. Not to work there, but to go there. So my parents are wonderful people, and they let that slide a little bit, Okay, I need my tan this summer, Mom. So anyway, Mr. Meyer was the manager of the swimming pool in the summer, and so he was the one that really influenced me to not give up. I wanted to learn to dive, and he was a wonderful teacher. And so I remember the time that I was supposed to do a 1.5, and I don't know if anybody's done a 1 1/4. right, lose all the breath out of you and go down. And Mr. Meyer dove in, rescued me, put me back up, and he goes, okay, you're getting back up on that diving board. And I go, oh, I don't know. And he goes, you get up on that diving board, or you're never going to get up on that diving board again. I got up, did a 1.5, and he has been with me whenever I, am discouraged about anything and think, okay, I made a mistake there, but I'm going to try it again. So, love Mr. Meyer. However, one of my favorite people in the whole world, and actually influenced me to be a business education major at Eastern when I graduated from high school, was the wonderful Wilma Allen. Now, what Wilma Allen taught me, other than her fashion sense, is that you can have a relationship with your students. You can really care about your students, and if you do that, they're going to learn a lot better. And I want to thank you so much for everything you've done for me. And I really can help not only my little ones, the early childhood special ed, but the college students that I'm teaching now. There are so many of them out there who are so reserved, and they want to be teachers, but you're going to have to talk in order to be a teacher. So I'm going to have to help you. And there are so many that I have sent to counseling because they need to be more assertive and take charge of a situation. Education's a tough job right now, and so by being relational, like Mrs. Allen taught me to do, I have not only been a help to them, I think, but I've become friends with them. And you were always so approachable. You were wonderful. And I look to you today, not only for that, but again, look at this lady. She has the best fashion sense in the whole world. I know I'm running a little long, I'm sorry, but I do want to say, I want to thank Sarah, Lawrence, and Libby Fox for being wonderful sisters, and my mom and dad were wonderful. I agree with John. We had, when you have wonderful parents and a wonderful family, life is a little easier, and you can get through those tough times. The one thing I want to thank you two for is the fact that you never let me win at anything. But that spurred me on to be, strive for excellence. I know I can beat them at this game. So I really appreciate the fact that you didn't just let me, slide by or let me cheat. That's not good. So I also want to thank Mike. I mean, Mike, you've been such a, ever since we got married, we have just both done so many things that we never thought we'd be doing, and you've been such a support to me to realize my dreams, and I really appreciate everything. Finally, I want to thank Tuscola for all of the young children with disabilities and their families that I've touched, I hope, and the teachers that I've trained all over the country. I want to thank you for the experiences that I've had, and the way that those experiences have helped develop compassion for those who are less fortunate, maybe, and given me the passion to support those people. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cook, and congratulations, Dr. Cook. Well, I've never heard the lady part, and all the others. All I ever heard is Beck. Beck.
That's good. Yeah, that's
Congrats, Beck.